Charmanila here. I'm the creator of the Pianoforte method, and we have been working on a series for you that is all about how I teach the major scales using the Pianoforte method and the book, the Major Scale Book. This is video number 5, and this will be our last video for a while. Okay, so the students have at this point spent as many weeks as necessary going over C major, perfecting how they can play it on the piano, technically getting that coordination correct. We spent a lot of time exploring how to find Do in the key of C and the whole tones and the semitones. And then we moved on, and also the tonic chord, the tonic triad, the 1 chord. And then we moved on to the key of G and explained how to make that modification with the F sharp and what that means, and how to recognize the key signature, and how to read and sight sing music in the key of G. This process can take several weeks with a student that's new to these concepts, and I think it's perfectly wonderful to take the time that they need, as many weeks as necessary. When we arrive at this point and we're ready to go on to D major, which is the next scale, I always flip to the front of the book, and this is the moment when we begin filling in all of the pages at the front. Before then, I don't think they have enough information to make the necessary connections for it to make sense. But at this point, I think that they're ready. So we're going to go to the front of the book and start to fill in some pages. At this point, I turn to page 8 in the Major Scale Book, which is the scale grid for sharps. And we're going to start to fill in some of these letters and scale names. So Juliet is going to do that now. The way the scale grid works is really simple and straightforward. We write down the letter names of the scale, point out that the scale that comes next is the one that we find on So or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is G, and then we add an F sharp. So Juliet, we aren't going to spend much time on this, but what is the scale that comes next after G?
D.
Exactly, and then we would build another scale here and add the necessary sharps. This final step in our process, I come to the circle of fifths, and we begin to fill in this really important diagram that all music students need to know. So Juliet, this is called the circle of fifths because this is the pattern that we learn the scales. So what was the first scale that we learned?
C.
So we're going to put C up here at the top. What was the next scale we learned?
G.
G was here, and it had an F sharp, yes?
Yes.
Exactly. And the reason it's called the circle of fifths, because if we're counting and we go Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, from Do to So is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that the distance between C and G is a fifth. And so the next note would be G, A, B, C, D. So the next scale would be D.
Yes.
And that's why this is called the circle of fifths.